Hey there, welcome back to another edition of Madman with the Show. I'm Zane, your host. Hey Jay. And we got Jay over here sitting with us, the big old executive producer of the show. It's a square up time, a Q&A. We're going to be trying to do this more often, every at least weekly, because lately we've been getting a lot of great responses, a lot of great demand for certain things on this programming, and we're trying to give it our all to you. And as you can see, there are changes coming. Starting to see little things start to creep out on the shows, the intros and thumbnails and stuff like that. And we're making some strides, and big strides actually, and we're starting to push it in. And like I said, there's going to be a rebranding of this channel, and that's coming soon. That's not immediately, but 2021 will be a major change for this channel. Now, we've been going through 2021, brand new year. We got the return of Saturday morning cartoons. How great is that? And weekday morning. Now, the couple days that I've been watching Tune In With Me, it's been pretty good. I've enjoyed it. It harks back to the old Bozo the Clown TV show and a couple of others. I can go through a list of long TV morning kids shows that have been around for such a long time. And eventually, I may do something on that eventually. For those of you who have probably never heard, someone mentioned something in one of my comments lines is a Kukla, Fran, and Ollie. I've never heard of that before. And that happened to be a popular show back in the day, back when I was a kid. And that ran for a while. It's the same thing like with Captain Kangaroo. Basically, we had that as well. Sorry for the dingings in the background, the phones and everything. We got them on silent, but it seems like get those special notifications I get. And it's mostly from you guys on there when I get a comment or something from one of our social media platforms. But like I said, we got some great cartoons, and let me tell you something. It's, as far as we can see, they're uncut. There's no warnings at the beginning and all that. We're getting Tex Avery, which is great. I think we also got Cool Cat this week on Tune In With Me. I think that was a Cool Cat cartoon. I think I just briefly saw it. I was like half awake when that was going on, because they're at 7 a.m. in the morning when that's happening. So we're going to go through what you the viewer, have been telling us, and we'll try to answer them the best we can. I mean, and I would say, I know there's some of you out there, you're excited on there, and I seen you put a whole big long list of things and stuff like that. Try to keep it to a minimum, because we want to answer them the best we can. If you want to ask as separate questions on there, we'll take it as that. We'll take them one at a time on there. But yeah, try to keep them to the minimum on there as far as if you're asking questions on, so at least we can cut right through. So we're going to start with Derek Penman, and he says, would it be great if they shown some of the Hanna-Barbera / Ruby Spears action and adventure cartoons? Now that's a great question to ask, to say, Hanna-Barbera and Ruby Spears. Now everybody's familiar with Hanna-Barbera, Scooby-Doo, all those great iconic cartoons on there. The Ruby Spears is another part of the organization which has some of the stuff from Hanna-Barbera and some other items. Both those companies had co-productions together. For example, they co-produced the Scooby and Scrappy New Puppy Hour, the Puppy New Adventures, Mork and Mindy, Laverne and Shirley. Those, I mentioned it before, that they did sitcoms and they made them into cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons. They did a lot of those. The Pac-Man TV series, Rubik's The Amazing Cube Hour, they did that. The other things that Ruby Spears has done also, which would be also good on there, is the Plastic Man, which I think that might be a little bit harder due to the original companies that are holding the code on there, which is DC Comics on there, which is also Warner. You have Fang Face and Fang Puss. If you're not familiar with that, it's about a guy who turns into a werewolf when the moon is out, and he's a superhero. They do mysteries. It's sort of a Scooby-Doo type on there, and you had a lot of that back then. Mighty Man and Yuck, which was basically about a superhero with a sidekick that was literally, I think he had a bucket for a head. If he lifted off, and oh my God, they're just like the ugliest thing you never got to see it, but if anyone saw it, it just literally was the most frightening thing on there. So that was kind of fun there. Rickety Rocket, I haven't heard that in a long time. Thundar the Barbarian, obviously one of my most favorite Saturday morning cartoons on there. Heathcliff and Dingbat, and many others. I mean, they did Mr. T, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Donkey Kong, Q*bert, Frogger, Space Ace. A lot of the video game that were turned into cartoons at the time for Saturday morning. Dragon's Lair, which was a big one on there too. Then they had a couple of other TV series going into the 80s. Punky Brewster had one. You also had a couple of the movies like Rambo, Chuck Norris, Police Academy. They had their own series on there. Then you had Mega Man, Turbo Teens, the Centurions. You know, it's a whole mess of cartoons on there. And eventually we'll be doing a video talking about individual companies like this and go further in depth on certain cartoons that they made on there. But thank you, Derek, for mentioning that. Like I said, it's good to hear that people have a good grasp of a lot of the Saturday morning cartoons, because there are people that are new to this that basically have never, you know, especially in my comments area, a lot of the young people that my viewers are between 18 and 34. Some of you have not really had the Saturday morning cartoon treatment. Most of you just are known toward Cartoon Network. You know, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Boomerang, but never really truly had that Saturday morning. You grab a bowl of cereal, sat in front of a TV, and watched some great cartoons on different networks, and you had to decide which one, because you had CBS, NBC, and ABC at the time. I mean, at the time, you know, cable was still, you know, when I was a kid, cable was still like a sort of a, how can I put this? It was an expense. You know, you didn't really, it was early in the day, but in fact, we didn't even have a Cartoon Network at that time period. Cartoon Network came many years later after cable began. But it was an added expense on there. It wasn't really like, you know, like most people today consider it a utility on the cable. But to watch it on network TV Saturday morning, and then later on in the day, I used to take in either science fiction or karate. That's another thing we'll talk about in another episode. Thanks, Derek, for commenting on there. Nyron Arnold comments, if this is successful, hopeful chance they'll go beyond the catalog of other brand cartoons, Harvey Toons, Walter Lantz, Hanna-Barbera, J-War, Japanese anime. Most likely they won't touch Japanese anime, and for the reason is one thing about a lot of the apps now, including the free apps, they're buying up a lot of Japanese anime. A lot of the classics you can catch now on companies like Tubi TV. Tubi TV has a great lineup. Pluto TV has a channel dedicated to anime, including a lot of the classics. I think you can watch Macross and Galaxy Express on there, and Captain Harlock. The other ones, most likely we will probably see. It depends. You know what it is? A lot of these companies, and I was saying in the other comments, Ruby Spears, some of their stuff is contracted with Warner Brothers because it's part of DC Comics. They're going to try to hang on to most of this product, and for the reason is that they have their own channels. I mean, Warner has HBO Max. They could throw these things on HBO Max if they wanted to, and they do have Cartoon Network, Boomerang. They do own those companies, so some of their product that they do own, they can't throw it on there. So it'll be harder for someone like METV to get it. Some things they might release. Warner might release it just to make some money because they do have a shortfall in the AT&T Warner. So yeah, it varies on there. And companies like Harvey Toons, which is like Casper and many others from that lineup, I would love to see that again. I would love to see Casper cartoons again, and all the other cartoons in that lineup, and the Walter Lantz stuff too as well. Now, thank you, Nyron. Thank you very much for commenting on there. Rich Little, probably no relation. If you don't know who the comedian Rich Little is, great voice, has done many mimic voices, but TV series and stuff like that. Very funny comedian. Once in a while, you might catch him on a Simpsons episode or one of the other animated primetime series as a voiceover. METV should acquire the rights from NBC Universal Television Distribution to carry Woody Woodpecker and Friends. Hanna-Barbera rights to carry the Super Friends, Filmations, and he goes through a whole listing. That's why I say just get on there. Now, understand, just to reiterate on the last person on there, the Warner Brothers, it's a slight possibility. Now, the thing about it is with like Super Friends and stuff like that, you can already see them on HBO Max. I mean, it'd be great to see it on a Saturday morning lineup on there, but a lot of this programming is available through the distributions. Now, the stuff like Gilligan's Island stuff, the Gilligan's Planet, Adventures of Gilligan's Island, yeah, that will be great. Those would probably be more easier to get as far as METV, because those are items that are not in demand versus something like Super Friends, Batman, The New Adventures of Superman. Now, on the Ruby Spears has a version of Superman from a long time ago. I don't know if they still have the rights to it, but they used to have one, and I have not seen it in a long time, and I don't think that they have put that back on DVD or anything of that nature. Now, that series, which is 88, and thank you, Jay. Jay just reminded me on here that Tubi TV, you can watch the Ruby Spears version of it, so it's available online on there. But it would be nice if they most likely that will be more easier to get on there, because the thing, like I said, the thing about Warner with the DC Comics, they want to hang on to it. They want the viewership. I mean, right now they are a low man on the totem pole as far as apps. They're dealing with Netflix, Amazon, and Disney, which they tout the largest as far as the amounts of subscribers. They're still HBO Max is still growing, but they still have a lot of issues according to them. But that's Richard, that's that's a good idea. I know the 1966 stuff with like Superman, Aquaman, Batman and Robin, those would be great to see again. It's the same thing with the Marvel stuff from that era too. The if you haven't seen the Marvel cartoons from that era, which is a little weirdly animated, but they were fantastic. I'm surprised that Disney hasn't put them on the site yet. I know there has been some remastering of some of the shows. I mean, you even had Submariner as a cartoon, and that was a great series too. I mean, you can go on YouTube and catch the title openings to some of this, and just to give you a little hint, yeah, some of the episodes were in there too. But I didn't say that. Yes, I know, Jay. Yes, I know. It's bad. Thank you very much, Rich Little. Thank you for commenting on there. Steve, and I'm sorry if I butchered that last part, Baja. Welcome back, Saturday Morning Cartoons 2021. Yes, we are so glad that they are back. I'm telling you, I've seen so many. I've been monitoring the Twitter feed of METV, and Tune In With Me has their own Twitter account as well, and they've been getting so many good comments already, and I think people are already enjoying the process of having these cartoons around once again. I mean, like I said, Saturday morning was an adventure for all of us, for us that grew up in the 70s and the 80s and a bit of the 90s. I mean, the 90s is when things started to change. And you don't want to know, the thing about it is, the worst part about it is this was because of government rule. And part of the situation why the changeovers and stuff like that was that they wanted more educational programming put up there. And some of the issues that were going on at the time period, just the networks just started to just change things over. I mean, mostly what you see is nature shows on there. But back in the 70s and 80s, you had the nature shows at the very beginning of the airing day, before the cartoons started to kick in. And there were educational stuff on there. I mean, you see it from the G.I. Joe cartoons and some of the others. And ABC used to throw some stuff like Schoolhouse Rock. They used to have characters that used to help you with little quick tips, like to make quick food, quick energy food for the day. Wagon Wheel, I think I remember was. I'm trying to remember the name of the character, but you'll probably see it on the screen on there. But basically, you had the education there, and they were just pushing out the cartoons, and they just wanted just full education on there. But the thing is, the kids were in school 5 days a week. There was no need for them to be a 6-day, to be in school. You had to, you need to clear the mind. You need to be a kid. They just kept ramming the education into there, and that becomes a burnout. The kids start to go elsewhere, stuff like that. And you might say, like, well, kids need to get out. Yeah, kids did get out in my time. Yeah, they did. But the cartoons came first. Then when the parents were up and then they had they've had their breakfast watching the cartoons, they got ready and they went out. Plain and simple. Thank you again, Steve. Thank you for commenting. Let's move a little bit on. This one is from Nick Svengoolie. I enjoy watching Svengoolie. Yep, I'll tell you, I like watching Svengoolie. This past week we had The Leech Woman. I haven't seen that in a long time. That was such a great movie. If you haven't seen that movie, it is it's about a woman basically that sort of found a way of losing a lot of the age that she had on her and made herself more beautiful. But they had consequences to the nature on that, and it was a good movie on there. It's one of those low budgets that doesn't get too much traction that often, but you're able to catch it. And at the end of the show, stay tuned at the end. We'll give you this week's movie. This week's a Peter Lorre movie that's coming up this week on Svengoolie, and we'll give you that at the end of the show. Now, thank you again, Nick. Please excuse that I butcher this. Yuji Kazumi. Thank you for commenting on there. When will the Jetsons premiere on METV? The Flintstones already aired on METV, but when will the Jetsons air on METV Saturday morning block? Yuji, I'll tell you honestly, the Jetsons could be, depending on the rights issue, they could be joining them on METV eventually, but I would say in the prime time category. The Flintstones are a primetime show, even though Jetsons were Saturday morning, but they did end up in the primetime slot. The Flintstones was always considered like The Simpsons. They were always the primetime show. And if anything, I would think MeTV would be a good either afternoon or evening block of Flintstones and the Jetsons. and that would be a cool way of doing it. Now, as far as right now, I haven't seen anything that METV would signal that they are. Prior to this, after this recording, things could change. You never know with METV because they're always adding and subtracting programming on there, and we hope that they do it. So usually that's a great question, and I love the Jetsons. That's one thing that's been around for a long time. Thanks on that. Francis Parker says, I hope we get Team Wolf, Turbo Team, Mighty Mouse, Ewoks, Super Spectacular, Pac-Man, Richie Rich, Transformer, Challenge of the Robots, Voltron, G.I. Joe, Inspector Gadget, Mighty Orbs, The Fonz, Super Friends, Mighty Mr. T. Oh my God, so much. Laugh Olympics, Dragons, Silverhawks. So much on there that I know there's so much that they can get. Like I said, with the Ruby Spheres, which is the Pac-Man in that category on there, the possibility. Ewoks, that's Disney right now. That belongs to the Disney catalog. I don't think Disney will let go anything of Star Wars category, especially now that they've announced new series that are coming. They're going to try to milk all these series that they have. If they haven't put Ewoks on their site, now the Challenge of the Robots, that's the GoBots, I would love to see them back on TV again. Now, the Challenge of the GoBots are basically Hanna-Barbera, Tonka Corporation, Wang Film Productions. It's like a lot of companies on there. I would love to see this back again. And technically you can watch it on YouTube. You have to pay for it, obviously. YouTube has episodes of it because I know they have remastered it. I mean, you have the great Frank Welker, who's done many voices, is in this series, and it is in a way, it was a challenge toward the Transformers series at the time. There's always been controversy, which was first, which was not. It was a competition on there. Now, Turbo Teen, Mighty Mouse, I would see more an advantage that they would METV would pick that up. That's part of the Harvey Toons and stuff like that because of the age of those cartoons, and they're great cartoons. One thing about the Harvey Toons, to bring this up, back when I was a kid, McDonald's used to have projectors in some of their restaurants, and basically that in certain sections they used to play cartoons all day for the kids. And especially the birthday parties, when they had the birthday parties, and they would pop in, there were these special units that they just popped it. They were reel to reel film. Basically it was in a special device that they just popped it in and they just played. It was almost like popping a VHS in, but it was basically film. I don't know if it was 8mm or what it was, but it was a film canister that they just pushed in there every once in a while. And then they just pressed the button and they let it go, and the cartoons would run for a while. But like I said, Mighty Mouse, I would see more on there. Silverhawks, a little bit more difficult, but not unforeseen, but that would probably be much, much later. Laugh Olympics could be a possibility as well. I would think Laugh Olympics would be better in a primetime slot next to Flintstones. That would be real cool if they could do that. Because remember, cartoons were also in the afternoon as well when the kids came home from school. So in a primetime or dinner time hour, that would be good there as well. So thank you, Francis. Now, this name, Tirante Luco Fan 2003 AK Blue East Media Spot. I gotta love YouTube. People, you guys got great names on your sites sometimes. When you mentioned the Tom and Jerry show showing the MTV shorts as well, METV did receive the entire Tex Avery catalog of shorts from Warner Brothers. Turner Entertainment Packages. They also being with Tune In With Me. We just have to wait for more Saturday to come to find out what cartoons are being there. Yes, they did get the Tex Avery. We weren't certain on that because I know there's a lot of issues with the Tex Avery stuff as far as the content itself. As far as we could see, and I just saw the day of this taping, I saw a Screwy Squirrel cartoon on the Tune In With Me block, and it was not edited or anything of that nature, and there was no trigger warnings or anything like that put on there. So and I haven't seen any on any of the blocks that have been put on this, which I'm glad METV is not bending the knee on that. So let's hope they stay this way. Tex Avery is hands down, one of my major favorites as far as the cartoon series. And basically, you can have a lot of fun with that as far as watching those. I know with the DVDs out, some of them they've edited them and they put trigger warnings on them, and it's like, ugh, you just hate when they do that, when they have to apologize for something that was years ago. And it's cartoons. It's cartoons. Who is it offending? Is it offending you? Don't watch it. Don't watch it if it offends you. Cartoons were not meant for everybody. Thank you again. I'll call you Ty, just to make it short on there, but thank you very much. And we got two more here. These are the last two. Rick Allen, what about Leave It a Beaver? Yeah, what about Leave It a Beaver? No, I'm kidding. Actually, with Tune In With Me, Leave It the Beaver has been moved up an hour. So you can get that 8 Eastern immediately right after Tune In With Me. So if you happen to be a Leave It a Beaver fan, yeah, it's still there. It's still there. They just moved it up an hour. Because I think it used to be on at 7 a.m. on there. Thanks a lot, Rick. Thanks for commenting. Juan Joyner, if I mispronounced that, I do apologize. Glad METV will be airing cartoons. I have so many favorites. Top Cat, Rough and Ready, Mighty Mouse, Spider-Man, The Archie Show. I have so many other favorites that would be up all night naming them. Johnny Quest, etc. Hope METV can purchase the rights to the Hanna-Barbera library. I'm hoping it's just a matter of time. It depends on what parts on there. Like I said, Ruby Spheres is probably one most likely you'll see the combos on there. You threw some names on there. Rough and Ready, Mighty Mouse, Top Cat. I mean, there are so many. They said they bought over 1,000 cartoons, METV said. And I can imagine the amount that's in that lot. But you have to think, if they only bought 1,000, consider how much more that is out there. From the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. I mean, just in the 70s and 80s alone. I'm even going back to the 50s a little bit. There's so many classic cartoons out there. And when you have a company like METV that's fast growing, that's willing to put the time in to bring these cartoons back, it's great. It's a great thing. Because there is so much out there that kids should be watching. And like I said, school's a 5 days a week. Even for an adult who works 5 days a week, you have to have something to clear the mind, clean the palate, as they say. You want to take your mind off things. And that was one of the great things about cartoons. It took your mind off all the issues. I mean, we have so many issues today. There are things that are going on today in the world that are just very painful, and the things we're going through emotionally, we need to take a moment and say, listen, we need to just put that aside and have something that brings cheer to us. And for those who've criticized those cartoons and stuff like that, say that they're racist and that they're misogynist and homophobic and stuff like that, I mean, you're in the wrong. It was a different time period. And they were just cartoons made for kids. You were a kid. Those who criticize, you were a kid growing up. Don't know what, for those of you who have criticized those on Twitter and stuff like that, you grew up to, or maybe you are growing up and you just don't understand yet what these cartoons meant to people. we dealt with no politics with these cartoons or anything like that. They were just cartoons. They were, you know, anvil on over the head. We rescued people from dangerous places. We had fun. We were chasing rabbits and squirrels, getting a sledgehammer to the head. We were chasing mice and stuff. There was so much fun to take away from everything. I mean, this was just the cartoons. It's not even going into the live action series. You know, stuff like Shazam and the other one I can't even mention, because if I mention it, I'd probably get clipped off, because the name of the particular female superhero is the name of a radical group now these days. It goes how bad that is. You can't even say that name. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. And, you know, there were so many others, Star Command and many other live action shows. A lot of the stuff from the Sid and Marty Krofft library. I would love to see the Sid and Marty Krofft stuff. You know, Land of the Lost, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, Lidsville. Lidsville. We have to do a show on Lidsville. That in itself. Talk about, you know, a real psychedelic insanity of a TV series for kids. I mean, you know, you had to have been on drugs, just, you know, smoking weed, just to dream of a show like that. Oh yeah, it's, you know, like I said, the 70s itself, the cartoons of that era were really wacky. So were the 80s, and you gotta love it all the way through, because I mean, you enjoy these things day in, day out. It's an adventure always. So, thank you for all of you that have commented. I hope most of you, I've earned your subscription today. And if I haven't yet, maybe today's the day that I've earned it. Because basically, like I said, you know, we've been building up. This channel's been building up. I mean, we've had the largest amount of subscribers just in the last week. And I want to thank those who have subscribed on there. And you know, it's amazing how we go through this. So before we go, let's take a moment and check out what is coming Saturday on Sci-Fi Saturday Night on METV. Svengoolie, what do we got?
This week on Svengoolie,
I saw it with my own eyes.
a ghost?
But there are no such things as ghosts. It was the hand.
Peter Lorre gets a grip on the beast with 5 fingers on the next Svengoolie. Saturday night on METV.
That's right. Thank you, Svengoolie. The Beast with 5 Fingers with Peter Lorre. That one I haven't seen. I'm definitely gonna have to catch that one. That's Saturday, January 9th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7th Central on METV. If you don't have METV, you haven't realized you actually do. If you have cable, do scan through. Most of the time you'll find it as far as, I believe, in the channel 3 or 503 or 1003. It's normally near CBS most of the time. So on most cable systems, it depends on the cable system. It might be other different. If you don't use cable, if you're on the internet and stuff like that, they don't have an internet part, but you can use a local antenna and do a scan, and you will find METV on a affiliate station throughout the United States. I mean, there are some issues that some stations have removed METV, but METV is working to get back on either a new station or work on contracting themselves to be back on the same station that you lost it at. So METV, you can find it free over the air or on your cable system locally. Don't forget, Saturday morning cartoons, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. block. Popeye and Friends, Tom and Jerry, and Bugs and Friends over the weekend. And then during the week, Monday through Friday, tune in with me, with Toonie the Tuna, and Friends. That's 7 a.m. Eastern on your local METV stations. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and Jay, share this video. we'll catch you on the next one. We got more coming on there. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the movie of the week with Svengoolie at 8 p.m. Eastern on METV. And enjoy the Saturday morning cartoons. And don't forget to check out Tune In with me as well. So thank you again. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.